Let me pass the mic over here to Commissioner Pedro Perluisi from Puerto Rico.
Yeah!
Good evening, good afternoon, buenas tardes a todos y a todas aquí de la comunidad hispana. My name is Pedro Pierluisi. I proudly represent Puerto Rico in Congress.
Oh yeah! All right, keep going.
I'm so honored, as well as pleased, to be here on this occasion, because the congressman, because to me he's still a congressman, I will be introducing in a short while, is a friend of mine, a friend of Puerto Rico,
Yes,
a friend of the Hispanic community,
Oh yeah!
a progressive in the best sense of the word. You know his name, but I'll say more. Alan Grayson is somebody who's when he was in Congress, I can attest to this. He was well respected. Well respected because he's a man who has had so much experience in first the law, the legal world, then business, and finally politics. He has traveled throughout the whole world, has the best education you can have. Graduated from Harvard in college, then went to Harvard Law School. He's been successful in everything he's done. Unfortunately, the last time around, he did not get reelected. He should have. But this time, it'll be different.
Yes.
Alan Grayson. I am not from Orlando, but I have to say that Orlando is the 79th municipality of Puerto Rico. So I try to keep track about what's happening in Orlando. And one thing I'll say is that I understand that Alan Grayson is the only Democrat elected to Congress from this area, the Orlando area, in about 30 years. That says a lot about himself. He fought for it and he won that seat, and he worked very hard. He stood on the right issues. I remember when Obama came in, the economy had collapsed. Didn't collapse on his watch. This was Bush who caused the recession that we had when Obama came in. And the first thing he did was the American Recovery Act. Well, Alan Grayson supported Obama in that effort, and we had to do it. And people say, where is it, where is it? Well, I tell you one thing, the economy would have been a lot worse, but for the American Recovery Act. Second big thing Obama did that generated some criticism was the Affordable Care Act. Now they call it Obamacare. But you know what? Well done. Well done. Because as you all know, if you have a pre-existing condition, now they cannot refuse insurance on you. If your kids want to remain in your insurance policy up to the time when they become 26 years old, they can. If you get sick, they cannot cancel the insurance on you. They cannot put a lifetime cap on the amount of money that the insurance company has to spend because, again, you have a chronic illness or something. Those are just a few of the changes that are here to stay. But Alan Grayson fought for that, and he debated it and so on. Talking about Puerto Rico, which, again, I represent, I introduced, when I was in Congress with him, I'm still in Congress, but when he was with me, I introduced 10 bills for Puerto Rico in Congress. He co-sponsored 9 of them.
Wow.
He had my back. Now let's go further, not simply to talk about Puerto Ricans, talk about Hispanics in general. I know he got $500,000 so that the libraries in this area in the Orange County would have books in Spanish. How come with so many Hispanics in here that those libraries didn't even have books in Spanish? He got that. In addition, he got also another earmark for the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in this area. He was a fierce proponent of comprehensive immigration reform, which we haven't had, but it's about time we do. Not to talk about the DREAM Act, and a real DREAM Act, not a fake one. So, and let me keep talking, because I want you guys to realize that, because some Hispanics were telling me, I was interviewed now, and they were saying, that, well, but shouldn't Hispanics be supporting Hispanics? No, 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 no. We should be supporting the one who's standing on the issues, who's right on the issues for the Hispanic community. It doesn't matter where I was born, it's what I believe in. And so, but more about, now more than Hispanics, Medicare. Medicare is a very important program. I know Alan Grayson will defend Medicare as we know it. Not vouchers, not privatizing Medicare. What's the least that you should be expecting when you reach your retirement age? You've been paying for that lifelong, for your Social Security, for Medicare, and now they're gonna change the whole thing on you because supposedly it's costing too much? That's not right. Medicaid. The medical program we have for the people who do not have means, you know, the low-income population. Do we want them all in emergency rooms? No, they should have access to adequate health care. Alan Grayson will be supporting Medicaid as well, Social Security as well. He'll be fighting for the right causes. And in terms of the economy, and I know that everybody's concerned about the economy and unemployment levels and foreclosures and so on, this guy knows a lot about economy. They talk about Romney knowing about economy. Alan Grayson knows more about the economy than Mitt Romney.
Yeah. It's true.
So what I'm saying is, I am happy that, I guess this was a miracle, through this redistricting, now we have a Democratic district. Now we have a district where we need a good Democrat representing you in Congress. And I know that Alan Grayson will be back. Without further ado, Congressman Alan Grayson.
Now say it all in Spanish. Thank you all, and thank you in particular to my friend, my good friend, Commissioner Pierluisi. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
May I call you Pedro?
Of course.
When we were in Congress together, Commissioner Pierluisi and I fought for a simple principle, and that is legal equality for people in Puerto Rico. Legal equality. What does that mean? That means that if you're living in Puerto Rico, you get the same veterans benefits as if you're on the mainland. If you're living in Puerto Rico, you get the same Medicare benefits as you would on the mainland, the same student loan benefits as you would on the mainland. Why is that so hard for some people to understand? It's very simple. Equality.
Yes. Yes.
And that represents the fundamental principle that we are fighting for in every election, every day. The equality of black and white, the equality of English speaking and Spanish speaking, the equality of young and old, the equality of rich and poor. Everyone is supposed to be equal before the law in the eyes of the government and in the eyes of God.
Yes. Yes, sir. Here we go.
Look at the issue of immigration. The commissioner referred to that before. What is the essential issue there? It's a question of respect. Look around. Every one of us is the son and daughter of an immigrant. Maybe back one generation, and in my case, my mother was an immigrant. 2 generations, 3 generations. We are all the sons and daughters of immigrants. We are all the children of God. We need to respect each other. So I had no difficulty in supporting the DREAM Act. But more fundamental is to address the human needs that we have in this district every day. Jobs, education, housing, healthcare. These are the things that we need in order to enjoy life itself. What good is life if you're sick? What good is life if you have the things that you don't have the things that you need in order to enjoy life? We're supposed to pursue life, liberty, happiness. It's necessary to have a good life to do those things. In the case of healthcare, 20% of the people in this state cannot see a doctor when they're sick. Among Latinos, it's 40%. We have to change that, and both the commissioner and I made steps toward changing that so that everyone can see a doctor when they're sick, no matter what your condition might be. That's a future that every other major country in the world enjoys. That's what we have to make our present. That's what we have to do in order to be a decent, humane society. For 3,000 years we've known that a just society is one that shelters the homeless, that feeds the hungry, and that heals the sick. It's a simple set of goals, and those are the goals that we will realize after this election. We will have better health care, we'll have jobs. I'd like to see more people have pensions, and I can remember a time when many working people had pensions. Now it's the exception rather than the rule. And I'd like to see a time when we all know that we don't have to worry about what's going to happen when we're older, when we know that we'll be safe and we'll have security when we're older. There'll be no question about whether we have Medicare coverage, Social Security coverage, or anything like that. Now, in this election, we are engaged in a great battle. And the battle is now clear. The Democratic Party is a party that wants people to have jobs. How are we going to accomplish that? By rebuilding our infrastructure, by rebuilding our schools, our roads, our hospitals. And putting all those people back to work. When you rebuild a school, first of all, you can't outsource that job. Secondly, when you've rebuilt the school, it's there for a generation. You know, I have 5 children in public school here in Orlando. And those 5 children were going to school in trailers until last year. Then last year we found the money to put together a school made of cement blocks and brick and air conditioning and give them an environment that showed our respect for our own children. We need to do that all through this district, all through Central Florida, all through Florida, all through the United States. That will put our people back to work. In education, I'm proud of the fact that we brought an extra $200 million home for the schools of Orange County and for the schools of Osceola County.
Oh, yeah.
Now look what's happened since then. The money's gone, the test scores have plunged. And what's the Republicans' answer? They changed the passing score. I think we need to do better than that. So for education, it's simply a matter of equality. There are some places that have lots of money, there are some places that have little money. The federal government has to make up the difference. In the case of the environment, it's been abandoned by the Republicans. They've given the environment over to the polluters. And I think, again, we simply need to restrain people, get a sense of what's right, make sure that our air is clean and that our water is clean. Now, once we get past all of that, you soon realize that the economy is one where there's a tremendous amount of wealth. There's enough money for the schools, there's enough money for Social Security, there's enough money for Medicare. So let me ask you then, why is it that the Republicans want to take it all away? This is an election where you can choose on one hand for schools, jobs, education, for health care. On the other hand, no Social Security, no Medicare, no Medicaid, no student loans, no unemployment insurance. It's a stark, stark choice, and we have to make sure people understand it. This election cannot be about whether Barack Obama was born in Hawaii. This election cannot be about whether Barack Obama is a Muslim or a Christian. It can't be about whether he's a communist or a socialist or a fascist. This election is not even about him, and it's not about me. It's about you. It's about your future. And we have to go door to door. We have to call our friends. We have to do whatever's necessary to get that point across. Your future is at stake. We have to fight for our future. I want to thank you all for being here today. You know, one of the great things about the redistricting process is now I feel that I am among friends.
All right, yeah.
I want to thank the Republicans in Tallahassee for taking all the Democrats in Congressman Posey's district, all the Democrats in Congressman Adams' district, all the Democrats in Congressman Ross and Webster's district, and putting us all together where we can do a lot of good. And I promise you this, when I'm back in Congress, you have a friend. I don't think that's asking for too much.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you. Hello, friend.
If you don't get your Social Security check, you know where to come. If you don't get your veterans benefits, you know where to come. If you need help of any kind, you know where to come. Even if your house is at risk, you know where to come. You know, it wasn't part of the job description when I went to Congress. The job description is you simply vote. But one of my proudest accomplishments is that we cut the foreclosures in our district in half. That's what I believe. In months, they went from $3,000 a month down to $1,500 a month. Why? Because we cared. Because we got housing counseling for people who needed it. Because we provided that in our offices. Because we brought in outside groups that provided people with refinancing 125% of the value of your home, a 2% mortgage. We didn't have to do any of that. But we did it because I care about you. I know you care about each other. We need to care about each other and help each other together. Thank you very much for your support. Onward to victory.